Incredible journey. Single dad discovers paralyzed girl at bus stop, transforms her life forever. Jake had been feeling the weight of winter like a heavy woolen blanket pressing down on him, gripping his chest with an almost suffocating chill. The quaint Midwestern town he called home seemed grand but isolating, defined by the rhythm of life that was both slow and excruciatingly familiar. Each afternoon, he would leave the modest carpentry workshop and brace against the biting cold as he made his way home to Max, his 6-year-old beacon of light. Yet, as he trudged through the snow, he often found himself wrestling with thoughts that felt more like chains than memories. How could he give Max the life he deserved, with only crumbs of talent and opportunities scattered around him? It was on one particularly frigid afternoon, cloud cover heavy with impending snow, that he saw her, a slight figure huddled at the bus stop. A girl in a wheelchair, nervously biting at her bottom lip, shivering against the cold. Jake's heart tightened as he approached her. A mixture of compassion and curiosity tugged him forward. She displayed an air of resilience, her vibrant scarf a striking contrast to the drab scenery around them. "Hey there, you waiting for someone?" he asked, his voice hoarse from the chill. Their conversation felt clumsy, his words halting as he attempted to connect with her. Lily, as she introduced herself, had a sparkle untouched by the world's harshness, admitting she loved to draw. "Do you think I could be an artist?" she asked, hope evident in those wide eyes. A pang of longing struck him, a reflection of dreams he once held, dreams faded by the tide of time and responsibility. Could he, a struggling carpenter, possibly guide this spirit? He hesitated, wrestling with the nagging fear that he was ill-equipped. Financial struggles loomed large in his mind, bills unpaid, groceries stretched thin, and luxury a distant memory. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. So the days turned to weeks, and their bond deepened over shared sketches and laughter. Yet, with each smile they exchanged, Jake felt the internal conflict sharpen. His obligation to Max, the ever-looming financial stress, and the fear that he was opening doors to dreams they would never afford. As winter tightened its grip, an unexpected blow landed. The news that Lily's family planned to relocate, seeking more for her, leaving behind the love they had built. The walls of uncertainty closed in on Jake as he faced a daunting dilemma. Fight for Lily and, in doing so, risk his small world spiraling further into chaos? Or remain a bystander, watching another bright light extinguish as they pursued better opportunities? His stomach nodded with anguish. This little girl had awakened something within him, an echo of his late wife's warmth and dreams half forgotten. The clock was ticking, each second a reminder of the stakes involved. As Jake looked at Max, who had begun to see Lily as family, he felt the ache deeper than winter's chill. Could he redefine what it meant to be a protector, a father, and a mentor? The weight of expectation settled heavily on his shoulders. Even as he sought hope, despair bared its teeth. The looming question of whether he could muster the strength to confront everything that threatened to tear them apart sharpened with each passing moment. The shadows of doubt crept closer, and Jake felt like he was teetering on the brink of something monumental, an unavoidable confrontation with fate. Jake couldn't shake the feeling of impending loss that gnawed at him like a hungry wolf. With each day that passed, his thoughts spiraled deeper into uncertainty. He had never felt this level of commitment to anyone outside of Max, and the very idea of losing Lily weighed on him heavily. He began to question whether he had the ability to change the trajectory of her life, or if he was merely a fleeting figure in her story. That night, as snowflakes danced down from the heavens, Jake sat by the barely flickering glow of a table lamp, sketching. These weren't just drawings. They were his desperate attempts to capture the essence of their time together, to immortalize Lily's laughter, her courage, and the way she approached each new day with an insatiable thirst for creativity. But even as he drew, his hands felt heavy and uncertain. What good were sketches if he couldn't provide her with a foundation to build her dreams upon? His phone buzzed with an incoming call, a reminder of the much-needed break he had scheduled with his old business partner, Tom. It had been months since they last spoke, and Jake was torn. He knew Tom had connections, possibly even leads that could help him expand his carpentry business, something he desperately needed to bring more stability to their lives. But if he chose that avenue, wouldn't it mean pulling away from Lily during her time of need? With a sigh, he grabbed his coat and headed out into the freezing twilight. Walking to the local diner where Tom proposed to meet, he felt each footstep echoing his internal conflict. As he stepped inside, the warmth enveloped him like a much-needed embrace. He spotted Tom at their usual booth, a smile breaking across his face. "Jake, good to see you. How's the workshop?" Tom asked, his enthusiasm infectious. As they settled into a conversation, the stakes emerged clearly in Jake's mind. He needed to confront the possibility of growth, not just for himself, but for Lily and Max as well. The idea of expanding his business filled him with strange excitement, mingled with guilt. He shared his interactions with Lily, the inspiration she brought him, and what she stirred within him, urging him to chase opportunities he had long buried under the weight of responsibility. "What are you saying, Jake? You want to help that girl?" Tom asked, brow raised. Jake hesitated. "I need to make sure she has a chance at her dreams, but I can't afford to let go of what we've started here. It's chaos with Max and—" "Mate," Tom interjected, leaning forward, "you can do both. You have to take this chance. You mentor her in the present, and you build the future for you all. Don't deny any of you the potential to grow." His words struck a deep chord within Jake. What if this was the kickstart he needed, a catalyst that could propel them all towards something brighter? What would it mean to embrace the risk? With renewed energy, Jake left the diner with Tom's encouragement echoing in his mind. Every snowflake that fell seemed to promise change. But as he walked home, doubts danced in the recesses of his mind. Would Lily still appreciate his support if he started to grow distant pursuing new opportunities? Would he lose her, not just as a friend, but as a source of inspiration? His heart raced at the thought, and he realized it was time to face the fears that had kept him shackled. As he approached his doorstep, the struggle crystallized within him. Could he be the steady force that not only anchored Lily, but also broke free to evolve his own life? He needed to answer that question. Standing at the threshold, he hesitated before opening the door, wondering whether he was ready to mobilize into this new chapter of complexity and potential. The moment of truth was upon him, and at that moment, Lily's bright smile flashed in his mind, igniting an unexpected determination. What would he do when morning light broke over the winter horizon? The cold air bit at Jake's skin as he stepped inside, shedding his layers of doubt along with the coat. Max was asleep upstairs, the rhythmic sound of his breathing a calming balm after the turmoil of the day. Jake took a moment to gather his thoughts, surrounded by the quiet of the living room, filled with half-finished projects and remnants of creativity, a mirror to his own life. As dawn crept in through the window, illuminating the sketches he had left on the table, he felt a surge of purpose. Sketching had always been an outlet for him, but this morning it morphed into something more. He reached for the pencil and began to draw Lily as he envisioned her, flourishing, hand in hand with her dreams. He sketched the career she aspired to, her determination radiating. Each line he etched held the weight of his hope, the promise of change, not just for her, but for himself as well. He recalled Tom's words and how they stirred something within him. Growth meant embracing discomfort, allowing himself to stretch beyond the boundaries he had set. The first steps toward change often required risking familiarity, a steady ground Jake had relied on for too long. After finishing the drawing, he stared at it. It didn't just reflect Lily's potential, it was a mirrored reflection of his own aspirations, the awareness that he could mentor her while seeking his own growth. But how would he initiate this transition? Determined to find out, Jake picked up his phone. It was time to reach out to Lily, to express his belief in her potential, but also to share his own journey. Their connection could evolve beyond the confines of mere friendship. Just as he took a deep breath for courage, the phone rang. It was Tom. "Jake, have you thought more about our conversation?" Tom asked, revealing a layer of familiarity to support, an overture for deeper commitment. "Yeah, I have," Jake replied, his nerves tinged with a newfound resilience. "I think I want to explore expanding the business, but I also need to find a way to support Lily in her path." "Good on you. Remember, it's not just about business. It's about creating a life where she can thrive and so can you. What you've done for her already shows you care." Jake smiled despite himself, feeling his spirits lift. Tom's enthusiasm was infectious. They discussed ideas for expanding his reach through local woodwork showcases, leveraging the community's interest in handmade craftsmanship. After hanging up, Jake felt a wave of exhilaration wash over him. He could visualize the workshops he would establish, a brand that resonated with authenticity and craftsmanship, a venture he could infuse with Lily's creativity. It was no longer just about building furniture, it was about constructing a life from a blueprint he would draft alongside her. With his resolve tightening like strings on a bow, Jake decided it was time to visit Lily. He needed to share his idea, his ambition, and discuss how they could work together. Maybe she had plans of her own too. Maybe they could inspire each other. The soft sunlight streaming into his workshop felt charged with potential as Jake moved through the space with intention. He gathered a few of his best pieces, a charming bench and some intricate birdhouses, pieces that could not only serve as practical items, but also as canvases for collaboration. His heart raced with anticipation. What would Lily think? Would she see the vision he had, the intertwining of their paths leading toward prosperity? Jake arrived at Lily's home, a small tremor of nerves flitting through his stomach. He knocked, molds of wood clutched in his arms, practically vibrating with the energy of his idea. Would she expect him today? Would he risk her disappointment? Just then, the door swung open, and there stood Lily, her eyes bright with surprise and wonder. "Jake?" she exclaimed, and the look on her face pulled Jake from his inner storm. "Hey, can we talk?" he asked, holding up the pieces, his heart full of hope. As Lily stepped aside to let him in, Jake felt the weight of all he once feared dissolve. This moment marked the beginning of an uncharted journey, equipping them for remarkable achievements. But little did he expect that their conversation would lead to something far beyond their dreams. What revelation awaited as they opened up about their aspirations? The moment Lily closed the door behind them, the warmth of their shared space enveloped him, dispelling the lingering trepidation. As sunlight streamed through the kitchen window, it painted golden hues on the surfaces, inviting creativity into the air. Jake glanced at Lily, her curious gaze piercing into his thoughts, urging him to articulate the whirlwind of new ideas swirling in his mind. "Lily," he began, his voice steadier than he felt, "I've been thinking about how we can combine our passions. I want to start hosting workshops where we can showcase our crafts, maybe even an exhibition of sorts." Lily's head tilted, her brows furrowing slightly as she processed this idea. "Workshops? Like teaching people?" "Exactly!" Jake's enthusiasm surged, feeling the anticipation crackling between them. "I want to create a space where people can learn woodworking, but I want it infused with your vision too. Your art can be part of it. We could design the projects together." A flicker of excitement danced in Lily's eyes, but a shadow of doubt quickly followed. "But what if I'm not good enough? What if no one shows up?" Jake understood that fear all too well. It mirrored the doubts that haunted him about his own abilities. "Trust me," he said, leaning closer. "We don't need to be perfect. We just need to start. This could be a place for us to grow, both as artists and as individuals." He could sense her hesitation, but also the flicker of hope igniting in her. Their conversation flowed into exploration as they brainstormed collaborative projects, birdhouses adorned with whimsical designs, functional art pieces, and furniture that would tell their unique stories. The air thickened with possibilities, and with each suggestion, Jake felt a portion of his own fears dissolve. They weren't just creating items, they were crafting a shared vision. The prospect of bonding through creativity resonated deeply with both of them. But beneath the exhilaration lay the whisper of uncertainty. Jake couldn't ignore the weight of responsibility he had in nurturing not only his ambitions, but also Lily's passions. What if he led her down a path that became too challenging? What if he didn't know how to mentor her directly? As if sensing his turmoil, Lily spoke softly. "What if we fail, Jake?" The question stabbed at him, forcing an internal reckoning. "What if we do?" he replied slowly. The gravity of his words. "But what if we succeed? What if we create something special together?" The silence that followed was thick with contemplation. He recognized this as the crux of their journey. Not just the risk of failure, but the potential of growth. The profound realization that through mutual support, they both could harness their capabilities. Lily appeared thoughtful, her mind entangled in the threads of their discussion, as Jake could only wonder how her responses would shape their project. He could feel the line between mentor and partner blurring, opening up a new realm of connection. "Okay," she finally said, her voice laden with determination. "Let's give it a shot. I want to do this." Her acceptance sent a thrill racing through him, driving away his remaining doubts. Together, they could build more than a business. They could create acceptance, resilience, and fulfillment. Jake had entered this space anticipating to guide Lily, but he realized he too stood to learn, a lesson that made success taste sweeter. But as they drafted plans for their first workshop, unspoken tensions simmered beneath the surface. Conversations held layers of complexity, dreams wrapped delicately in uncertainties. Jake's hopes collided with the reality of their inexperience, and the shadows of their fears loomed larger. In that pivotal moment, he recognized the duality of their journey. As exhilarating as it was to embark on shared endeavors, they would also confront the very doubts they hoped to escape. What challenges lay ahead, and would they be ready to face them together? A sudden knock on the door jolted both of them from their reverie, a visitor unannounced and unexpected. Jake's heart quickened in anticipation. Who could it be, and what could they want? Would this intrusion lead to yet another twist in their developing story? Jake's heart pounded as he exchanged a quick, questioning glance with Lily. The knock echoed in the room, a rhythmic reminder of the uncertainty creeping back into their bubble of creativity. He moved cautiously toward the door, each step laden with the weight of anticipation. Opening the door, Jake was met not by a friend or familiar face, but by a tall man with scruffy hair and an unkempt beard. A stranger, but one whose eyes reflected a depth of experience. "Hey there," the man greeted, his voice gravelly yet friendly. "You Jake? Someone told me you were the guy to talk to about woodworking." Yeah, that's me," Jake replied, confusion swirling around the sudden shift in focus. He glanced back at Lily, who stood observing with a furrowed brow, her enthusiasm momentarily replaced with curiosity. "I'm Jeremy," the man continued, stepping inside without an invitation. "I've been trying to get back into crafting, but need a little guidance. I hear you're starting some workshops, right?" The abruptness of it caught Jake off guard, more than the intrusion. This was the kind of opportunity he'd envisioned, yet it came like a thunderstorm on an otherwise calm day. Could he really lead others in this venture, already teetering on the edge of his own insecurities? Sure, we're in the planning stages, actually, Jake managed, his words hesitating. What kind of woodworking are you interested in? Jeremy's excitement was palpable as he explained his past experiences with furniture building and the artistic designs he had dreamt of creating. Jake listened intently while suppressing a rising panic. He wasn't prepared for a visitor, especially one who might expect to be taught by him. Lily stepped up beside him, her demeanor shifting as she sensed Jake's unease. Maybe we can help you. We're actually brainstorming collaborative projects for our first workshop, she added, her voice laced with renewed purpose. As they began discussing ideas, Jake wrestled silently with inner thoughts. The pressure of being a mentor felt heavy, as if the fabric of their shared vision was unraveling before it even started. What if his failure as a leader reflected not just on him, but on Lily too? Could he guide this stranger while still figuring it all out himself? Jeremy's interest piqued more than Jake had anticipated. He peppered them with questions, leading the trio into a workshop of ideas that seemed to unfold naturally. As sketches and concepts flowed, Jake found a surprising rhythm. He began to relax and engage, discovering that he possessed a knack for illustrating design ideas and fostering collaborative spirit. He was not just navigating this new role, he was discovering himself in it. Lily stole glances at Jake as they worked, her eyes lighting up with amazement. She was witnessing a transformation. The mentor was becoming a collaborator, and together they were crafting a space that could invite others into their world. Yet as the session progressed, doubt wrapped around Jake again. He was still tethered to insecurities. Had he improvised too much? Would both Lily and Jeremy trust him enough to follow his example? What if he faltered when the first workshop actually took place? With the excitement of possibilities swirling, the air thickened with tension. It became clear that the invitation to lead also came with profound responsibility. Jake realized that their successes depended on transparency and trust, which now extended far beyond just him and Lily. "Let's take this step by step," he interjected, trying to glean confidence from the wild thrust of creativity. "We're all learning here, and that's fine. Each flaw is a part of the journey." As the discussion stretched into the evening, it became increasingly clear that his earlier concerns would not vanish with the calming retreat of daylight. The mingling of creative spirits, while invigorating, was also binding them to a shared outcome that could lead to either triumph or failure. When Jeremy finally left, Jake was left grappling with notions of leadership and accountability in ways he hadn't anticipated. How do you balance your own burgeoning potential while carrying others towards their dreams? Soon after, Lily turned to him, her voice low but steady. "You really surprised me today. I saw you leading that discussion." Jake swallowed hard, feeling the tremor of pride mix with the palpable fear still lurking beneath the surface. If we're going to succeed, I need to nurture everyone's potential. But what if I don't know how? Her reassurance hung between them, but Jake's conflict remained unresolved. A knot of responsibility twisted in his gut as he started to comprehend the crossroads before them, a growing realization that to nurture others, he must first confront his own fears, confront the possibility of falling flat. In the quiet aftermath, it became evident that their journey had just begun, not just regarding the workshops, but regarding their evolving identities as artists and mentors. And in that realization, Jake felt a looming sense of urgency, one that demanded a decision. Would he embrace this role fully, or would the specter of failure hold him hostage? With this internal battle raging, the real question remained: what kind of leader would he ultimately choose to become, and how would that shape not only their workshops, but the very fabric of his relationship with Lily and the others? The sun rose the next day, casting soft rays through the windows, yet for Jake, dawn didn't bring comfort. He sat at their shared workspace, tools scattered around him, remnants of yesterday's excitement now mingling with rising anxiety. Each piece of wood lay waiting for the hands of a craftsman, and yet Jake couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy that plagued him. Lily was absorbed in a sketch, her brow slightly furrowed as she crafted an intricate design for a birdhouse they had discussed. He watched her focus, admiring how easily creativity flowed from her fingertips, while he struggled with the weight of his responsibilities. "Jake," she said, breaking his reverie, "what's on your mind?" Her voice was a gentle nudge through her haze of thoughts. He hesitated before speaking, unsure whether to admit his fears. "It's just, what if I can't lead the workshop? What if it flops? I don't want to let you or Jeremy down," he confessed, his voice barely more than a whisper. "If it flops, she said, looking him straight in the eye, her tone unyielding. "We won't know until we try. You're overthinking it. You've already shown you can engage with ideas and bring people together." Her unwavering support felt like an anchor, yet the self-doubt clung to him like a second skin. He considered the potential for failure, and that thought spiraled into a question of his worth. Would he still matter if he couldn't succeed in this new role? Pushing the thought away, Jake rose and gathered some materials, needing to transform his anxiety into action. He decided to begin constructing bench prototypes for the workshop, hoping that distraction might clear the fog from his mind. As he chiseled away, the physical rhythm of craftsmanship began to soothe his tangled thoughts. Each strike of the hammer was a deliberate step toward reclaiming his confidence. Midway through the project, Jeremy arrived. Jake's nerves flared as he glanced at the unfinished benches, but he reminded himself, this was a collaboration, not a solo performance. Jeremy's enthusiasm was infectious, as he dove into plans and ideas with the kind of energy Jake himself struggled to summon. "Let's build something that's not just functional, but tells a story," Jeremy suggested, pacing as he spoke. "A communal piece, something that encourages interaction." Jake felt the walls of his insecurities start to crack. "What if we ask everyone to contribute a small design element? That way we can showcase their individuality." With each suggestion tossed around, Jake felt the fear begin to dissipate. This was what leadership could look like, an evolution of shared creativity instead of mere direction. The weight of expectation lightened, replaced by the buoyancy of collective purpose. As the three of them crafted together, Jake noticed once again how essential trust was. Trust in himself, in Lily, and in Jeremy's vision. He could lead, but not alone. Each perspective added value. His insecurities, their strengths, their shared enthusiasm. Even as the workshop's opening week approached, echoes of doubt remained, whispering fears that he wasn't enough. Yet within moments of collaboration, something profound shifted. A realization washed over him. He wasn't just leading, he was inviting others along a shared journey. Every decision, every design, every flaw and strength would blend into something meaningful, an experience, not just a workshop. That evening, after a long day, Jake found himself staring at the unfinished benches again. Each mark on the wood, each joint he crafted spoke to his evolution. But what awaited him next could either solidify this newfound perspective or threaten to unravel it. Lily entered quietly, holding a rough sketch of their upcoming workshop agenda. "I think we should add a discussion segment about our creative processes," she proposed, a twinkle of innovative spirit lighting her eyes. Jake contemplated the idea, aware that their dynamics were shifting. This wasn't just about him leading, it was about creating a space where everyone's contributions mattered. But facing the attendees would still require Jake to take a leap into the unknown, to confront his fears head-on. The moment stretched between them, a quiet tension brewing. As she placed the sketch on the table, Jake found himself wondering how this journey would truly unfold. The workshop was just ahead, a crossroads where he'd face his demons, both the fear of failure and the realization of self-worth. Would he step boldly onto that stage of vulnerability and risk rejection? Or would he retreat into the safety of his insecurities? The moments stretched between them, a quiet tension brewing. As she placed the sketch on the table, Jake found himself wondering how this journey would truly unfold. The workshop was just ahead, a crossroads where he'd face his demons, both the fear of failure and the realization of self-worth. Would he step boldly onto that stage of vulnerability and risk rejection? Or would he retreat into the safety of his insecurities? The choice loomed closer, tinged with the promise of adventure, intertwined with the potential for growth. And with that lingering question, he felt the urgency creeping in again. What if the very catalyst that would define his transformation was about to emerge, but only if he dared to rise? The morning of the workshop arrived, draped in an uncharacteristic stillness that seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. Jake stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his hair slightly. The reflection staring back was a tapestry woven with both hope and uncertainty, two threads locked in a delicate dance. He wore a simple flannel shirt, sleeves rolled up, embodying both his artisan roots and a desire to connect with those who entered the space he had prepared. He exhaled slowly, letting the warmth of the sun seep into the room and cradle his thoughts. Today wasn't merely about showcasing projects. It was an invitation for vulnerability, his and everyone else's. With each passing moment, adrenaline surged through his veins, igniting a clarity hidden beneath the shadows of doubt. Arriving at their shared workshop, the intuitive hums of conversation bounced against the walls, welcoming him like an old friend. Lily and Jeremy were already there, setting up the tools and arranging materials with gestures suggesting both routine and excitement. The sight was a grounding reminder that this wasn't a solitary venture. It was a collaboration steeped in community spirit. And yet, as familiar faces began to trickle in, so did the tightening knot in his stomach. Each new participant brought their energy, a mosaic of intention and creativity. Jake felt their eyes upon him, each set filled with expectation. Awash in uncertainty, he managed a smile, greeting people as they entered. Each glance met with his determined attempt to shake off the weight of fears creeping back into his mind. Amidst the laughter and chatter, Jeremy stepped up beside him, holding a clipboard filled with notes. "Okay, Jake, let's set the tone for the day. Remember, we're here to share ideas, not to lecture. Your approach will shape the atmosphere." Nodding mechanically, Jake realized Jeremy's unwavering faith in him acted as a balmy breeze against the latent storm of self-doubt. He glanced at Lily, her expression radiating encouragement. As he gathered the group for introductions, Jake's voice trembled initially, yet with each name spoken, a current of connection began to flow among them. "Let's talk about our creative processes and how we can collaborate on these benches," he began, heart hammering. "I want you all to feel part of this. This workshop isn't just mine, it's ours." A collective murmur of agreement rippled through the room, igniting excitement. For the next hour, they shared ideas and anecdotes, painting a picture of their individual experiences. Jake began to feel the shadows of his insecurities retreating, replaced by a burgeoning sense of belonging. The realization struck him like a well-crafted blow. He could guide these discussions not by dictating, but by celebrating contributions. However, as the workshop progressed, he discovered an unexpected twist. One participant, an older gentleman with a quiet demeanor named Mr. Tompkins, had a contrasting vision for the community benches, one more functional and less artistic. His comments sparked an internal conflict within Jake, navigating the line between empowering others and preserving the cohesive vision they had collaboratively built. "You know," Mr. Tompkins said, his tone unwavering, "art can sometimes overshadow practicality. Can't we just make them usable?" Silence hung heavily in the air. Jake's mind raced, grappling with a myriad of thoughts. Was he truly ready to confront dissent? This moment was pivotal, not only of artistic collaboration, but a test of his leadership spirit. He shot a glance at Lily, who offered a reassuring nod, urging him onward. "I believe functional pieces can still embody creativity," Jake replied, his tone steady but tinged with vulnerability. But it's crucial we respect each idea on the table. Let's blend innovation with practicality. Perhaps we can come up with prototypes that incorporate both." A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the group. It was a moment of realization, a revelation breaking forth. He was not invisible in this collaborative space. He could articulate a vision while inviting criticism, changing the dynamic of the workshop from confrontation to inclusion. As they broke into smaller groups, mapping out their plans, Jake felt lighter, a phoenix rising. He confronted the voice that had whispered inadequacies, realizing that confrontation didn't have to mean conflict. It could mean creating harmony amid discord. But with this victory still fresh in his mind, there loomed another tempest of uncertainty. Had he truly forged a path that valued all voices, or simply navigated the moment cleverly? As Jake moved from group to group, observing the budding projects around him, he couldn't shake the sensation that the balancing act of commitment and flexibility was a tightrope he would need to walk again and again. But for now, there was a spark in the air, swirling with potential. Something more profound than a simple workshop was unfurling, and as a surge of anticipation swelled within him, he wondered just how far this journey could take him. And with that, as Jake watched them busy at work, the exhilarating thought struck him. What if, today, not only transformed their projects, but unveiled an unforeseen strength within himself, one he had yet to discover? As Jake moved through the small clusters of participants, his vision expanded to encompass not only their projects, but the threads connecting them, ideas merging, creativity sparking in ways he could hardly have anticipated. There was a tangible electricity that punctuated the air, a force that seemed to draw forth the bright and innovative aspects of each individual. Yet an undercurrent of anxiety began to swell within him, a familiar pulse of insecurity. What was the next step? He found himself questioning whether his role as a facilitator meant he had to dictate the pace or steer the direction more forcefully. The realization that he could offer guidance while still promoting collaboration gave him a moment's respite, but it also left him grappling with how to maintain that balance moving forward. He wandered over to a couple of participants who were deep in discussion, sketching designs on scrap paper that had become scattered across their workstation. Leah, the younger participant, whose eyes sparkled with enthusiasm, pointed to a swirling pattern she had drawn. "What if we cut the wood in these shapes? It could make the benches more inviting." Jake felt a warmth spread through him. Leah's passion was infectious, and her proposal encountered immediate enthusiasm. But a flicker of doubt lingered in his mind. Would bold artistic touches like hers resonate with the community? Were they straying too far from practicality? "That's a fantastic idea, Leah," he replied, his voice upbeat, masking the tightening in his chest. "But remember, we still need to ensure the structure remains stable. We don't want them to look inviting but fail to hold anyone's weight." The momentary silence that followed felt heavy, dark clouds seemingly gathering. Leah's shoulders seemed to droop, her smile faltering as the doubt lingered. Jake immediately recognized he hadn't encouraged her appropriately. His words had inadvertently placed a boundary on her creativity. He took a breath, steeling himself. "Can we brainstorm ways to support your idea and maintain the bench's durability? Let's challenge ourselves to make something that dazzles the eye and feels solid as a rock." A light flickered back in Leah's expression, momentarily vanquishing his trepidation. "Yeah, maybe we can use thicker wood for the bench and layer the design on top of it." "Yes, let's explore that." Jake's voice sliced through the air, a spark igniting a collective idea generation that began bouncing among them like a pinball. As he drew back slightly to observe, a wave of relief washed over him. In this space, his role was evolving before his eyes, not merely as a leader, but as a nurturer of potential. He watched their enthusiasm bubble and surge, intertwining their ideas into a living tapestry. He felt as though he was moving out from behind a curtain he didn't know had shut him off. Yet, as he stepped away, something gnawed at him, refusing to subside. This was a pivotal moment in his personal journey. It became increasingly clear that growing in confidence also meant inviting conflict and uncertainty. What if those uncertainties became a source of division rather than collaboration? Unexpectedly, Mr. Tompkins approached him again, his brow furrowed in speculation. Jake felt the unpredictability of their earlier conversation echo through his mind. "Look, Jake, I appreciate your openness, but I still think we are losing sight of our primary objective," Mr. Tompkins stated, his voice steady but edged with severity. "We're not just making art, we're creating usable community pieces." The implication hung heavily between them, a looming storm cloud over the vibrant atmosphere Jake had aimed to nurture. He understood that to grow further, he would have to reconcile differing viewpoints while honing his own decisiveness. "Absolutely," Jake replied, carefully choosing his words, knowing he had to approach this delicately to protect the spirit of creativity brewing in the workshop. "But I believe art can greatly enhance usability. Could we devise a way to meld both our goals without compromising either aspect?" Mr. Tompkins met his gaze, a flicker of respect breaking through his earlier reticence. "Perhaps," he replied, mulling it over. Jake felt a shift. This discourse could be the key to subverting opposition into collaboration. But as the momentum shifted in the room, Jake realized he had to continue charting this new path without losing sight of who he was becoming. As he encouraged further brainstorming sessions, glancing from group to group, he felt a new weight settle on his shoulders. He could no longer avoid the hard conversations ahead. Would he be ready for each critical dialogue that tested his evolving identity as a facilitator? The workshop unfolded with creative concepts thriving, yet Jake's heart raced with anticipation and some subtle dread, feeling the seeds of growth extend beyond the surface. A new chapter loomed just beyond the horizon, one that could define not just the workshop's outcome, but also the very essence of his leadership. He couldn't shake the feeling that the greatest revelations were still to come. Would he have the courage to face them? Jake took a deep breath, feeling the room vibrate with potential. As ideas mingled and floated through the air, he realized that his responsibility was transforming. It was no longer just about steering a group, but about allowing each participant's voice to harmonize into something greater than he could envision alone. After the initial burst of creativity surrounding Leah's design, he sat quietly near a table where a few participants were engrossed in discussion about materials and functionality. With his hands in his pockets, he struggled to quell the doubt festering inside him. This workshop was meant to empower those around him, yet a nagging fear echoed in his mind. What if he was standing in the way of that empowerment? He watched as Mario, a slightly older participant, paced back and forth, clenching a piece of bamboo in his hand. "We need to remember what the end product should be," he said emphatically. "Functionality first. Ideas are great, but if we don't get these people something useful, what's the point?" "Yeah, but how do you even define usefulness?" Leah countered, her enthusiasm disrupting the mood. "Isn't it also about the experience? If we create something beautiful, they'll value it more." Jake felt the familiar clenching in his chest. This was the crux of the conflict, the ongoing debate between practicality and inspiration. Rather than merely facilitating the conversation, he needed to mediate it. He needed to encourage dialogue instead of letting it fracture. "Maybe we can find a common ground," Jake interjected, his voice calm and steady, revealing a newfound resolve. "What if we brainstorm all potential ideas together, both functional and aesthetic, and then evaluate them based on feasibility? This way, we can ensure we're on the same page." Mario hesitated, and for a moment, frustration washed through Jake. Was he losing them before he truly even had them? But he swallowed his irritation, leaning into this moment. Instead of forcing everyone to fit into the framework he had originally envisioned, he recognized that he needed to nurture the emerging dynamic. As ideas volleyed back and forth, something clicked within Jake. Each suggestion, whether practical or whimsical, added a layer to their collective vision. It invigorated him, a flicker of understanding igniting as he witnessed this transformative process unfold. He no longer felt like an outsider. He was part of this creative movement, just as each participant was. Yet, amid the creativity, the stark reality of their tasks loomed. It was one thing to be inspired, it was another to deliver tangible results. Jake felt the pressure rising as conversations began trickling into a comparative evaluation of designs. Would their ambitious concepts translate into real, usable structures? Suddenly, he called for focus. "Let's take a moment to write down what each aspect of our designs brings," he suggested, both in terms of use and emotional impact. As individuals started writing, Jake took the time to reflect on his own skills. He realized he had a knack for situations that required diplomacy, a hidden talent he had overlooked. This revelation bubbled beneath the surface, granting him a spurt of confidence. But as the group compared their notes, he saw Mr. Tompkins hovering at the back, observing intently. Jake's heart sank momentarily. Was he going to offer a critique that could undermine the burgeoning collaboration? Unexpectedly, Mr. Tompkins stepped forward with a contemplative look. "What I see here is an incredible blend of ideas, but let's be honest, this all needs to fit a budget. We have a foundation of creativity, but can it be shaped to be both accessible and sustainable?" The challenge brought fresh tension into the air, a thick layer of complexity that Jake hadn't fully anticipated. What if we incorporate recycled materials? That could lower costs while enhancing creativity, he suggested, casting a quick look at Leah, hoping her spirit wouldn't dull again. Jake could feel the temperature rise as the group delved deep into discussions of recyclables, costs, and potential obstacles. This was a critical test of both their creativity and their resourcefulness. But more importantly, it was a test of Jake himself. Did he possess the capability to navigate through rising uncertainty? Could he balance creativity with responsibility without diminishing either? As the room buzzed with tension and inspiration, Jake faced the undeniable truth that his journey was just beginning. He would need to nurture this development actively, forging paths through conflict and crafting them into valuable opportunities. The realization hit him hard. Every decision, every challenge should lead towards an uncharted evolution of himself as a facilitator. Would he have the resolve to remain steadfast in this uncertain terrain? He steeled himself, feeling a surge of determination. In that moment, he understood that true leadership was as much about wielding authority as it was about embracing vulnerability. And with that thought, he was ready for the storm ahead. But as he stood on that precipice, a daunting question loomed in the air. Would he succeed in uniting creativity and practicality, or would he fall victim to the very conflicts he hoped to resolve? The first workshop concluded on a high note. Jake stood before the group, his heart swelling with a sense of accomplishment that felt foreign yet thrilling. Every participant shared their creations and ideas, revealing their individual and collective progress. It was a tangible celebration of everything they had accomplished together. Yet, beneath the surface lay a complex mesh of emotions that buzzed like bees around his mind. As Jake basked in the warm glow of success, reflections of his own transformation surged to the forefront. The timid carpenter who had once second-guessed his worth had emerged as a leader, a facilitator who had embraced collaboration and nurtured creativity among the participants. This journey had not been devoid of challenges. Each moment of doubt, each conflict they had navigated together had forged a stronger bond within the group. Jake recognized that the challenges had pushed him, forcing him to confront not just his fears, but the very fabric of his leadership style. Each interaction had become a stepping stone toward his true potential. He recalled the moment when Mario had voiced concerns about practicality over creativity. Instead of shrinking away, Jake had leaned into the conflict, facilitating a dialogue that allowed creativity to marry functionality. This exchange had illuminated a pivotal lesson. Leadership isn't merely about issuing directives, it's about inviting voices, fostering a shared vision, and embracing complexity. As the workshop participants began to pack up, Jake felt a growing clarity. This first venture marked a significant milestone, not only for the community project they created together, but also for his own professional identity. The hesitations that once buried him in uncertainty had dissipated, and he stood tall, vibrating with the energy of newfound purpose. With every deep breath, a solid confidence enveloped him. He had conquered the fears that had once inhibited him, proving to himself that mentoring others did not diminish his achievement, but enriched his own journey. The transformative process had been twofold. As others grew, so did he. The workshop culminated in a vibrant showcase of their collective talents, a testament to the progress they had made individually and together. Friends and family attended, eyes sparkling with pride at the creations that filled the room. Jake felt gratified seeing Lily's designs melded in the final pieces, her laughter mingling with the excitement surrounding their artistic offerings. That night, as he stood back and took one final look at the room filled with what was once raw processes now presented creatively, he realized the significance of this achievement. Jake had forged a pathway that not only nurtured Lily's dreams, but solidified him as an adept facilitator who thrived in collaboration. After the participants left and the last of the lights were dimmed, Jake stood alone in the workshop, his eyes drifting over the pieces that resonated with memories of growth. He felt a deep satisfaction in knowing that he could create a supportive space for both himself and others to flourish. The resulting sense of fulfillment washed over him like the gentle hues of a setting sun, one that heralded a new chapter, an achieved professional recognition within a burgeoning community. And just like that, he transformed his surroundings. From the person who once doubted his ability to protect and lead, he now possessed the ability to inspire others, sharing visions that extended beyond his dreams. As he locked up for the night, a powerful resolve swirled within him. This was only the beginning. He realized the potential of what they had crafted together. More than just benches, they had built a foundation for creative exploration. Emboldened by this growth, Jake knew he would continue to guide others, while also pursuing his own passions and aspirations in carpentry. This was his moment of triumph, a full-circle evolution from doubt to confidence. He had embraced his role, claiming not just a place in the lives of others, but establishing his own success through personal achievement and shared wisdom. As he shut off the lights, Jake felt the weight of burdens lift, replaced by an exhilarating lightness. This newfound confidence wasn't merely temporary. It represented a solid foundation for future explorations and adventures. He stepped into the cool night, feeling the crisp air fill his lungs with possibility. Jake realized he was prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, and with that recognition, he drifted away from old chains, newly equipped to chase future dreams with confidence and fortitude. Now was the time to embrace the journey ahead, to build upon the insights gained. And you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. True fans of personal overcoming stories understand how crucial it is to support the channel.